I'm very honored to be speaking to Sion Houri, who is one of the founders of Save a Child's Heart and director of the Pediatric Intensive Care Unit at Wolfson Medical Center in Holon. Thank you very much for allowing us to interview you. Could you explain, again, a little bit of history of how Save a Child's Heart began?
Save a Child's Heart was the creation of a single man at first, Zichrono Livracha, Ami Cohen, immigrated from the States to Israel in 1992. He was already a pediatric cardiothoracic surgeon, and when he got here he had a debt towards Dr. Belayel Bagaz, who was then the only pediatric cardiologist for all of Ethiopia, which was then a population of 60 million. Ami met me here together with Dr. Aki Tamir, our chief cardiologist, when it was, I think, in November or December of '95. With what sounded an absolutely crazy idea, bringing children for heart surgery. We did not have an active pediatric cardiac surgery program at the time. But that's how we started. We brought 2 kids from Ethiopia, we operated on them, they did fine, we brought 2 more. The main goal of Save a Child's Heart is to promote, not only to achieve, to operate on a few cases, but really to promote in the sense that we're also bringing physicians and nurses for training, helping them get started in their own countries. We can go further details later on, but promote the whole issue of treating children with heart disease. And in the future, we also want to start a program of prevention of rheumatic heart disease, which is what I call a stupid disease, because it is preventable in a very cheap way. You know, penicillin is the cheapest antibiotic we have nowadays, but for some reason children in Africa and in many other places don't seem to be able to get this treatment. We started with Africa, but then it was around the Oslo Agreement, and as part of the Oslo Agreement, the Palestinian Authority took responsibility for the health of their own population. They wanted it, I mean, they were not forced to do that. So they took it together with the money that came with it, but they obviously did not have the manpower or the infrastructure to really do that. Now, the problem, if you can call that a problem, is that the Palestinian patients got used to be treated in the Israeli system since 67, 68. And that's when a very interesting organization that was then named Light to the Nations, in the meantime they changed the name to Shevet Achim. It's a Christian organization. The founder, Jonathan Miles, was then sitting in the Gaza Strip with his family, and every morning he had like this long queue of Palestinians with all kind of problem approaching him, help us. So he contacted us, and that's how we started at first working with the Palestinians. Today things are much more established. I mean, Jonathan Miles and his organization still help us in a very important way at moving the patients in and out of the Gaza Strip and so on, but we also have very good contacts with many pediatric cardiologists in the West Bank, almost in any city. We've educated quite a few Palestinian physicians, whether in the field of pediatric cardiology or intensive care, and we are even enlarging the scope a little bit. So right now we have a physician starting training in radiology, in neonatology, and so on. In the Gaza Strip, for example, in the West Bank today, we finally reached a level where there are enough physicians and enough pediatric cardiologists to diagnose those kids literally at birth. So we have plenty of referrals of very small babies. Very often we get babies from the Gaza Strip like 2, 3, 4 days old that have been diagnosed with a heart condition and come to us. Now I have to apologize here because I might be like breaking the idea of the Israeli reality that you may have from the news, but this is our actual reality.
Have you ever seen problems of bringing children out of Gaza or the West Bank from either the Palestinian side or from the Israeli side?
Usually, if these are real emergencies, people are smart enough not to do stupid things. But if it is not an emergency, amazingly enough, very often the problem is from the Palestinian side and not from the Israeli side. I say very often that no matter in which direction the missiles are flying, our clinic on Tuesday happens, but from time to time they stop a few things or. Can
you just sort of describe this the clinic on Tuesday? I'm not sure.
the children from Africa, they're diagnosed by their own physicians, and then we send a team there to confirm the diagnosis, because sending a kid all the way from Africa here for no reason would not be very good. But with the Palestinians, we have a free pediatric cardiology clinic that is run by Dr. Akitamir every Tuesday, and his team actually. It started like a small clinic, but today we have a team of volunteers helping him and people helping with production and stuff like that. So every week we see between 15 and 25 Palestinian children, both from the West Bank and the Gaza Strip. Mm-hmm. A few of them just need to stay here for surgery immediately. A few of them can just be scheduled for surgery in the next few months and things like that. So I once during a visit of the previous ambassador of Britain here in Israel, I told him that the waiting list for a Palestinian kid to get heart surgery is much probably shorter than it is in Manchester.
Do you also treat children from the larger Arab world?
One of the physicians with the American army invading Iraq was a pediatric cardiologist, and he diagnosed a little baby. He was a week old with something called transposition of the great arteries, which is a fairly known congenital heart disease. Mm. So anyway, we had an Israeli pediatric cardiologist on the phone with an adult Iraqi cardiologist performing a catheterization on an Iraqi child with instructions on the phone, like, you do this, you go there, you open this. And the Iraqi physician did an excellent job. The kid was transferred after receiving, of course, permission from the Foreign Ministry of Israel, because officially we were at war with Iraq.
Sure.
And since that kid, we operated on more than 200 Iraqi children.
Wow. So
we had a few children from Jordan, like around 5, 6. I must say that the medical system in Jordan is relatively well developed compared to the neighbors and the proportion looking at the size of the population. We never had a single kid from Egypt. Mm-hmm. Even though in theory, I talk about the spring and so on, but we never had a single kid from Egypt. We had a few contacts of Egypt, but they never brought anything. I think that there is a problem with the general attitude, we never had a kid from Lebanon either, or from Syria, even though just recently there were like 7 Syrian people wounded in the war or treated in an Israeli hospital. We had quite a few patients. We had one patient from Somalia, mm-hmm. and we were part of the team who did the first open heart surgery ever done in Mauritania, which is the only Islamic Republic that had, at least for a short time, diplomatic relations with Israel. I was there. Today we have Savage Children's Heart in Canada, in the US, both in Washington. We just established Savage Children's Heart in LA. We're not happy, but she should be happy actually, because she was very close to that last week. She had, on top of 2 defects in her heart, she also was infected with the RSV, which is a virus that is normally looked as a contraindication for surgery. But in her case, we were going to lose her if we didn't do surgery, so we had no choice. We operated on her, and today she's breathing on her own. She's crying, which is a good sign. I would be happy if she was smiling, but she'll be smiling tomorrow. That's good. Oh. He had rheumatic heart disease, which, as I mentioned, is a preventable disease. But in his case, the disease literally eats the valves, and you have the valve, very often the mitral valve that is not working right. And today we fixed it. Our surgeon got quite some expertise at doing that. Expertise that he shares, by the way, with physicians from Australia, where they have the same problem with the Aborigines. Mm-hmm. And so they got experience at repairing those valves. Mm-hmm. And this little cute baby with her grandfather there, she looks cute but don't believe the appearances. She gave us a hard time. She's, thanks God, so much better today than she was. She's okay. She's just with a little bit of oxygen and should be on her way home soon, I hope.
Where is she from?
From Gaza, Gaza.
Yes. 3 months now.